Hey everyone, this is Jürgen Comic Center, and it is finally here. The video I've been talking about in over half a year now, maybe a year. This is gonna be how to make a better collection. And I'm not standing in front of my bookshelves for this one, weirdly. We're gonna talk about how to make a better collection and everything, and I'm gonna talk to you about how to spend all of your money on the latest, hottest books that everyone is talking about and that you cannot miss out on. And you need to jump on it right away, right on the release date and everything. Scratch that. Actually, it's hard for me to even joke about that because I've been on that bandwagon on buying books as soon as they come out, and bunch and much more titles that maybe I haven't even heard of, but other people speak greatly about it, so I pick it up and think maybe that this is something for me, or that I maybe have some related titles that I picked up as those people, and then I think that we're gonna have the same great taste on everything. Therefore, I think I'm gonna like it as well, but then I don't, because we are simply different people. And yeah, so this is not gonna be about buying into each and every message you hear about a certain book. And this is a little controversial for me to make this sort of video because I myself am doing haul videos and sometimes collection videos. I've been keeping up with haul videos just because it gives me something to do in between my studies, but I haven't made a graphic novel collection video since the end of 2018. By the end of 2018, I made a video in the beginning of December, or it was for Christmas in December actually. I named it my graphic novel collection video of 2018, over 900 books. Usually don't add anything other than graphic novel collection and then year date. But this time I had to make it out there that I had over 900 books apparently. I hadn't done that in any of the previous collection videos because I made 5 videos prior to that one on how my collection grew each and every year. And by the end of this video, I, of course, loved all the attention and the comments and everything on this is my goal. I cannot wait to get to this point with my collecting, and so on and so on. Those were the kind of comments that I got. And I liked that at first. But then later on, I realized to myself that I'm giving the whole wrong impression on what collecting is going to be all about. If you're gonna watch this whole video, I should warn you, this is not gonna be many of those tips and tricks on how to actually make a better collection. This is more of a perspective video on what I've learned within these 8 years of collecting comic books and graphic novels. And by the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, I was not happy where I was in life, basically. Let's see here. I was not, I didn't get any fulfillment with my job. I had not been dating much at that time, and I just wanted to leave my town for something else. I wondered if there's something else out there that I can do and to satisfy my life. And the books, it held up that for the longest time until it didn't, because they were a distraction, basically. So I think I bought a lot of books just to distract me from reality. As long as I could take a few extra more job hours at that job just to afford some more books, and then I can just get distracted more about life and everything. and dating and such. But I went to a peak where this is not gonna hold up, because now I have over 5 full-grown billy shelves, or the big standard billy shelves full of books, and I just don't have the space to add just another billy shelf and get lost at the aisles of IKEA and everything. So that was the peak. 2018 was my peak in the numbers of books that I had in my collection. And it was not long after this type of new perspective or search for something new that I stumbled upon a YouTube channel named by the creator and host of the channel called Matt Diabella. And what that channel was simply about was minimalism. And minimalism is something that is much more spoken about nowadays, I think, but when I stumbled upon that channel, I had never heard of it. It was something, the idea of what a monk would live by, I guess. I think that was my perspective at the time, I guess, having basically nothing. But that is far from what minimalism is. It is actually a lot of different things. It is all about perspective. It has many different faces, but I know what it has and what it means for me now. And so what I did was I embraced it. I watched all of his YouTube channel videos and his Netflix documentary called Minimalism. After getting a hold of that, being single for over 2 or 3 years then, I had accumulated a lot just to take up room and, as I said, distracted me. Because when I got all that extra space, when my ex-partner moved out, the first thing I thought was, well, I can finally fit those 3 new Billy IKEA shelves now. So that is something. And therefore, building up and filling up my room, living space and sense of motion with stuff. So with minimalism, I went in and checked on everything that I owned and what I actually needed. And a long story short, on that point, in one point, I got to my collection. The collection was actually the last thing that I went on and tackled. And it was basically because I moved. I'm a student now and I'm studying 3D artistry or visualization. It's so hard to pronounce sometimes, but that's what it is. It's rendering photorealistic photographs just using a computer program. And I always liked decorating and photographs and everything. So that's basically why I got into that. And being on that road, and I had to move town to get into this. And we had to move like 900 books in one go. And it wasn't just in one go. I first had to put them all in storage for 3 or 4 weeks before we then had to move them again into this new town that I'm living in. So just getting help from my family and everything, but I basically had to move all the books myself because omnibuys are heavy. Especially when you carry 6 or 7 of them at once, in one go, in one box. And it was, like I said, about 40 boxes just of the books. And I never want to move that many books again. So I started to reread and go through my collection week by week and see what I can sell. And I'm actually proud to say that till this day, I've sold close to 300 of those books. So I'm in the 600 book number today when I'm filming this, but I would actually like to get it even less. And some of it I just hope that Marvel and DC prints more omnibus of, so I can get rid of the smaller collections just to make a smaller book number but still have the same content, because what I have is still what I have time for to reread and appreciate while doing so. So it's always that struggle now to look into the collection and see what I actually want to have and reread, and what is, I don't know, what actually brings joy and some type of emotion. If it doesn't give me an emotional response, at least it should be a kick-ass story. And yeah, that's a new type of philosophy that I've taken up with this when it comes to the collection. Of course, I can go further into talking about minimalism and what other things I've changed in my life and everything, and why I quit my job and everything. Or actually, I didn't quit. I am on a leave of absence on the job, or whatever you're gonna call it. I'm still hired. I've taken a break so I can try to do this, and I like this. So it's heading to the right direction, absolutely. Speaking more of the collection itself, as I said, in the beginning I got those comments that was very flattering on how your collection is my goal, this is my dream, and so on and so on. The last months that I've gotten comments on that video, I can't believe that I still get comments on such an old video, but still, I directly tackle those comments that says that I want to have this, and directly tell them that no, you don't, or at least tell them that this is far from the goal. This is a bunch of books that I took for granted, and some which are just dust collectors. They're just sitting there, but I have changed now. Other people has said that he is never gonna read all of those books, and I totally get that impression with 900 books, because I get the very same impression when I see other people's collection. It is rarely that I even do search up other people's collection now, because I am not in the search for anything that has already been published. I only wait for new published books now. But still, one can get curious sometimes. And yeah, it's just, there was this one guy that commented that he said that he wanted to have such a big collection one day as mine, and that he only had the Don Rosa Donald Duck collection. And he shouldn't look down on himself like that, because saying that you only have that in just comparison, it doesn't matter. I bet he probably loved those books, those Don Rosa books, more than I love maybe half of my collection or anything. I mean, I took so many of my books for granted, but they were just placeholders and taking up space, but I was never going to read them again. He probably reread his Don Rosa books several times. And yeah, there's a difference there, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. It's just trying to make another impression. As I said, when I do the haul videos, I still recommend the books, because that's what I've always done. But I still like to share what I like. But usually I get to read those books that I show in my haul video before filming it, actually. So I actually know what I'm talking about when I say that I like it. And if it's a blind buy, you're sure that I'm admitting it too. And it was just in my latest haul video that I showed you Uncanny X-Force, and I read that book before shooting that haul video, and now I've sold it. It just wasn't for me. And the same goes for some other books that I've read recently. So it's still a learning curve. I'm not perfect in any matter, but it helps. I mean, we only have so much space. I just hope that someone can get something out of this video and know that you should read what you love, should listen to yourself before somebody else on what to pick up. And with that, I think that you can go a long way with this collection hobby.